Helium HNT price is currently at its lowest we have seen since its previous all-time high. This is almost entirely driven by existential factors, none relating to Helium specifically. FTX is being bailed out by Binance, and there is simply nowhere to hide. Unfortunately, Solana might be taking the worst beating of them all. Helium below the $3 level is almost unprecedented considering the infrastructure that is quietly being built, but again, this is crypto and anything can happen. At the end of the day, this price action won't matter in a year from now, and ultimately can be seen as an opportunity for anyone bullish HNT and the Helium network long term. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the Crypto Compound channel. Thank you guys all so much for being here. I hope you're having a great day. Please hit that like and subscribe on the way in. Today, we are looking at the price chart. So we're going to take a look at HNT here, sub $3 right now. We're going to take a quick look at Solana, and we're going to talk about what's going on, how I'm thinking about this, and one thing I might do, being that HNT has retreated to such low levels. Now, quickly over here on CoinMarketCap.com, Helium is at one of its lowest ranks we have seen since its previous all-time high, currently ranked number 83. Obviously, everything here over the last 24 hours and 7 days, big red numbers, thanks to the FTX and Binance debacle. Now, if we jump over here to Twitter, yesterday I did tweet just as we crossed this previous support line that we have been tracking, mentioning that the disparity between progress on the Helium network and HNT price has never been greater as HNT retests the $3 level. And of course, with all of the great news that happened at Solana breakpoint for Helium that we will cover in a future video, it is shocking to see HNT performing this way. And of course, it is related to everything going on between Binance and FTX and their native tokens. Crypto land has never been crazier. As we can see, FTX on November 7th showing off their soon-to-be new Tokyo office. And then fast forward literally one day, and we can see CZ Binance here this afternoon. FTX asked for our help. This is a significant liquidity crunch. To protect users, we signed a non-binding letter of intent intending to fully acquire FTX.com. Of course, this is what is causing the massive bleeding of crypto markets all the way from the top of the market cap charts all the way through the bottom. If we look over here at Solana, Solana might be taking the biggest beating of them all, down below $20, currently below $19, around the $18.50 range. Now, it has broken all previous support, stretching all the way back to early and mid 2021. However, an imperfect measure of where this might end up right now is if we take this measured move here and we apply it to when it broke this wedge here, there is potential here to retest this $15 level. We have come close here at about the $16 level from this wick, but anything above $15 right now is in play for Solana. Now, unfortunately, due to the exposure that FTX and Alameda Research and so forth had with Solana, they are taking the biggest beating because there was liquidity that was needed. So they did offload their large positions in Solana, which ultimately could end up being positive for Solana long term, meaning some of these historic venture capitalists and investment firms that have been sort of leading the charge might be recycled for newer, fresher views, which very likely would be a good thing for Solana. Now, if we go over to HNT, of course, we can see we are below the $3 level. We have wicked to as low as $2.80. Losing momentum fast here on the MACD, oversold on the RSI, and we have broken all previous support lines that we have been tracking. And interestingly enough, this previous support line here that we have been tracking aligns almost identically with the 1618 extension of this previous high to low accumulation zone way back here. However, we are below it. We are currently in no man's land. And as we can see from the greater crypto markets, this largely has nothing to do with Helium, despite all of the positive news we have seen from Solana breakpoint just last week. Even here, the Solana Train Helium Hackathon. I mean, there is nothing else that is going on like this. As we can see, there is significant work being done, testing that is happening, infrastructure that is being built right now on the Helium network. So it is important to try and see through all of this. In 6 months to a year to 2 years from now, this intermediary price action that is taking place in late 2022 is ultimately not going to be playing a role if you do have a long-term vision. Now, guys, I have been thinking about this a lot, and I've been trying to think of an analogy that can explain how I feel about the Helium network right now and how it is currently being built, but people point to there being not significant usage. And the best thing I could come up with was imagine that people were sent to Mars to build roads. Now, as those roads are being finished all across Mars, people from Earth are using their telescopes and they're staring at Mars and they're seeing no cars driving on Mars. And they're saying that Mars is useless. The roads that are being built are useless, but it's simply because there are no cars yet on Mars to drive on those roads. That is how I feel about Helium right now. There is so much work being done by companies inside and outside of crypto that are building infrastructures, sensors, hardware, software that is going to be used for finding new solutions to new problems in the future. And that is the current state of the Helium network. So of course, usage isn't there yet because a lot of what we need to drive this usage is not built yet. I hope that puts this a little bit more into perspective or gives you guys a better idea of how I feel about Helium right now. But I am still extremely confident in the long-term prospect of Helium as a network and HNT as a crypto token. But guys, this ultimately turns out to not have been a blow-off bottom, as FTX has almost single-handedly driven HNT sub $3. And guys, down here, we're basically, like I said, in no man's land. I mean, if you had to pick a next support line here, it would be the previous all-time high of this accumulation, which is just about $2.30. And then after that would be the high of this trading range right below $2. We're not even going to look at that or draw those lines here yet. Hopefully, we can get past this liquidity crunch for FTX and Binance, and we could resume normal programming, perhaps exit this bear market sometime within the next few weeks, and hopefully the next few months. Now, guys, one last thing I wanted to leave you with was sort of a strategic allocation of my crypto assets as we are here in the depths of this bear market. And it's something I've learned from previous bear markets. So Helium, of course, is down now below $3. Now, the previous all-time high can be calculated depending on where you look. We're going to use $55. Now, one of my other largest crypto holdings is simply Bitcoin. And if we look at Bitcoin's previous all-time high, it could be calculated somewhere around $68,000. So if we consider, and Bitcoin is currently at 17,000. So if we consider Bitcoin retracing and returning back to its previous all-time high from these levels today, and we use these rounded numbers of 68,000 divided by 17,000, that is about a 4x return from today's levels. Now, the same exercise for Helium, let's do 55 divided by 3, is about an 18x return from these levels to its all-time high. So that's 4x versus 18x if we assume that both of these assets are going to retrace to their all-time highs over the next bull run and so forth. So of course, this is not financial advice whatsoever. This is just how I think about things. And that is part of the reason why I might transfer some of my Bitcoin into HNT over the next week or so, simply because if I assume that they are both going to retrace to their all-time highs at some point, which I certainly do, there is an 18x return on HNT and only about a 4x return on the Bitcoin. I hope that makes sense, but of course that significantly increases your return if you're assuming that both of these assets are going to return to their all-time highs. Guys, let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know if you're seeing anything that I am missing. Thank you guys so much for being here and watching until the end. Please hit that like and subscribe if you have not already. We will be back with more updates, news, and analysis, so stay tuned. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, but just like that, this video is over, and I will see you next time.